We're now recording, and it is 7:02, and I'll call the meeting to order. What I'm going to be doing is I have a script that has been okayed by the town. That is how we have to start the meetings and kind of concludes a preamble. It's a little lengthy. It might take up most of our meeting, but we will start with it. So this is a guide for me, the Finance Committee Chair. As a preliminary matter, this is Erica Coles-Jacobson, Chair of the Newbury Finance Committee. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated to be on the agenda are present and can hear me. Finance Committee members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Joe Ali.
Present.
Linda Allen.
Present.
Jean Case.
Present.
Tom Howard, not in attendance. Marshall Jesperson.
Present.
Frank Visconti.
Present.
And Tracy, we had town administrator here, but she is not in the office. She was listed on the agenda, but she's not in today. So she will not be joining us this evening. So introduction to our remote meeting. Good evening. This is February 1st, 2022. Open meeting of the Newbury Finance Committee is being conducted remotely. In accordance with the Act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, which extends the governor's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law 30A, Section 20 until April 1st, 2022. This public meeting is being conducted remotely. It will be recorded and the recording will be found on the Newbury Access YouTube channel. This order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location and allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Newbury Finance Committee is convening by video conference via Zoom as posted on the Finance Committee's agenda, which can be found on the town's website and which identifies how the public may join. You may join us by going to http://zoom.us and entering meeting ID 891-1958-8258 or by calling 1-929-205-6099 and entering the meeting ID when prompted. The passcode is 986863. Please note that this meeting is recorded and all attendees participating by video and/or teleconference. The recording will be available on the Newbury Access YouTube channel. Meeting materials were provided to board members prior to the meeting for review. Meeting business ground rules. Before we turn to the first item on the agenda, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, as chair, will introduce each topic and speaker. After the speakers conclude their remarks, I will ask committee members to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please use the raise hand function and please hold until your name is called. Further, for all attendees except Finance Committee members and staff, please remember to mute your computer with the mute button or your phone using *6. When you are not speaking, please use earbuds with tablets and cell phones. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that can help generate accurate minutes. Please be aware that video participants can see you and that you should take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. For any response, please wait until I yield the floor to you and state your name before speaking. When Finance Committee members wish to engage in discussion with other members, please do so, taking care to identify yourself when you wish to speak. Each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Public comment. There will be an opportunity for public comment after opening remarks. Members of the public may address the Finance Committee for up to 3 minutes, longer with the permission of the chair. The Finance Committee will not engage in discussion on the topics raised during public comment, but may choose to add the topic to a future agenda. This agenda segment will be limited to 15 minutes unless time is extended at the discretion of the chair. I will see questions and comments through the Zoom raise hand function. Video conference participants, To raise your hand, hover over the bottom of the Zoom window below the photo gallery and click on the yellow hand. I think it just has a raise hand now. If you don't see a yellow hand, click on participants button and list of participants will open and display on the right. At the bottom of this participant area, you will see an option, click on raise hand button. Please ensure your name is fully and correctly displayed on the participant list. You may rename yourself by using the more function next to your name. Telephone participants, to raise your hand in Zoom meetings, hit *9 on your phone keypad. I will then allow comments from the members of the public who have raised their hands in the order in which they are listed, which is determined by the order in which people click on the raise hand function. Each participant will be called on to provide his/her name and address, then ask a question or make a comment. Your hand will be lowered when you've been given the floor with your questions. I will then continue down the list of those in the raise hand column and then again afford the member of the public the opportunity to speak. Phew. And Marshall, I can send this to you so you we can.
How is that?
Yep, that would be great. Thank you, Erica.
And we can thank the planning board for helping set the tone and for conducting these. So we have confirmed member access. We have done roll call to establish quorum, and we've done the introduction to remote meeting. I've already read the public comment piece, and the next item was town administrator's report, of which we do not have one because Tracy has been out for last week as well, and I have not heard from her directly. So, leading to old business. We have the business to approve the meetings of January 4, 2022 meeting. They were at the bottom of the agenda. Does anyone have any additions or edits to make to them?
I don't think so.
Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the January 4th meeting.
I will second.
Excellent. Roll call vote. Vote to approve the meeting minutes. Joe, Ali?
Yes.
Erica,
Oh, actually, Joe can't.
Yes, I approve.
you weren't there. But let me go through the roll call because that way I can write it down at the same time.
Perfect. Go
Okay.
for it.
So, Erica,
Yes, approve.
okay. Jean,
Approve.
thank you. Joe wasn't here. Linda,
Approved.
okay, I approve. Tom is not here. Frank,
Approve.
thank you. Just helps me in the minutes next time. Thank you.
Perfect. And then do we have updates from any of the committees, CPC or master plan?
CPC is meeting Thursday this week, so we'll have an update for next time. We have a number of things on the agenda that we'll be going over. Some from DPW. DPW would like a new truck, a $250,000 truck.
Wow.
Wow.
In fact,
Wait
there
till
are
I
two
get a
trucks.
hold of James.
We have 3 vehicles on the agenda. A dump truck for the DPW, a truck for the shellfish officer, and the normal replacement for the police cruiser, which is on a schedule. We just do one of those just about every year. We also have some things for the fire department, a few other things on there, but we'll be doing that, and we'll get you those recommendations early next week.
Excellent. Thank you. And I know Tracy had shared a little bit about master plan that's in the hands of some consultants who are helping working on that. So that was, there's no further update there.
There is no further update. I did talk with, well, I did volunteer to get back on the master plan because all of the people who had been on the master plan committee had timed out. And so we'll see who gets reappointed.
Thank you for that. So the update from the DCC, which District Communications Committee, we met last Thursday night. There were actually 2 meetings last week that I was involved in. There was one on Wednesday, which is the Alternative Assessment Working Group. Alicia Greco and I are both on there as representatives from Newbury. And then the DCC open meeting was on Thursday night. The Alternative Assessment Group is making great progress. We are working on a couple of models that are aimed at giving us a couple of alternative paths. And we've asked them to give us some modeling based on past enrollment numbers and what, if we did a rolling average or if we did certain things, what that would have done to budgets in the past and how it might smooth things out. So that's just part of that working session. Also, Tracy sits on landlord tenant, and we are, all indications is that Salisbury is very close to agreeing to the idea of purchasing and taking ownership of Salisbury Elementary back. There is some language in the works. There's some a template that they've used in, I believe in Pentucket when Tracy was at West Newbury to help kind of formalize that language. The change to landlord tenant and the change to and the coming up with an alternative assessment, both would then be things that would get written into the regional agreement and then have to pass at each town's town meeting in order to actually take effect. The timeline right now is to keep both of these working groups going with an end date of May of the spring 2023 town meetings to have all of that put together. So, and the alternative assessment, I should point out, is it just provides us with an alternative that could be elected by the school committee to seek funding under. It does not replace, it's not a replacement for the current formula. It would be a different way of calculating it. So, so those will continue on, and they don't anticipate being things that are brought, because the overall group view of the DCC is that going to town meeting this year with like the landlord tenant piece and then going back again next year is a little too much. It's mucking with the agreement too many times. Would rather put them together and have it all be like every 5 years or so, trying to have that regional agreement be updated. And at the DCC meeting, which was on Thursday in Rowley, because we're farming it around. Next time it's at Triton, but we're moving through each of the 3 towns. Newbury will be hosting it. I don't remember which month now. Hold on. We're hosting it 1 month, but it's not a big deal on that one. But we did get our foundation enrollment numbers for the town, which is the big driver for the, and we also learned our local minimum contribution by town. And I can provide these, I'll get an electronic copy. I received this after 8 o'clock, after 6:30 on Thursday, so I couldn't post it. But the foundation enrollment by town, for the total district, and this is the October 1 numbers, and these came from the state, is 2,203 students. Newbury accounts for 644, Rowley 691, and Salisbury 868. So our percentage, the Newbury percentage for the calculation for FY23's budget, which is being worked on, is going to be 29.8%. 0.23%, which is an increase of 0.42%. Raleigh is at 31.37%, which is up 0.26%. And Salisbury is now at 39.40, so a drop of 0.68%. So it did show we actually went up after years of declining enrollment. This year we bounced back up a little bit, but there was a kind of, last year was an unusual dip as a lot of parents opted to put their kids in private school or other types of school for the last year during the COVID restrictions. But this is coming back into play now. So at this point in time, these are the percentages we'll be working with for that. Our minimum local contribution that we have been assessed, which is the state basically says you all have to put in their minimum contribution. Everything else gets basically divided by that formula of the percentages. Our minimum local contribution is $6,266,464. And it's an increase of $355,893. Rowley's and Salisbury's both went up as well, and by pretty much at equal amounts. Rowley's at 6,772,743 is their new one, and it's up by about 385,000. And Salisbury's is up 454,208. So, and they're in the 8 million range. So where we are in the budget cycle for Triton is that they have received all of their recommendations and requests for budget items. And on Saturday, there was going to be a budget workshop via Zoom for all the school committee members. So they're working on their budget. And according to our budget calendar, they will have so far into this already. The final Triton budget is due on March 1st. So there'll be a couple of more meetings where they talk through and share with the DCC and share with the public different budget recommendations. But they're working on that, which is completely in line with where we think we should be. Any questions or thoughts? Nope.
Not here.
None for me. If you get me the electronic copy, that would be helpful.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Eric, I missed the exact number that you mentioned for increase, but was it about 5%? Ballpark?
Yeah,
It's
it's,
about,
yeah,
About 5 points, right?
yeah, 6.5 million, 300 and something thousand.
yeah,
355,000, about 6.5 million. Okay,
yep, just about 5%.
great, thank you.
And the minimum local contribution is determined by the state, has a lot to do with property values and the wealth and all of the different aspects of it that go into it. So we will see how that plays out. So that brings us to new business. Do we have any new business from any committee members? Well, with that, our next meeting is on the calendar for Tuesday, March 1st, 2022 at 7 p.m. I will let the committee know we will most likely meet in person. especially if things are back and we'll see how the COVID rates are. I will let you know that it was out of an abundance of caution. I did this via Zoom because we are averaging, Cole is getting a close contact notice pretty much every other day. So we are testing like crazy. So I don't know that if he tests positive, my whole family goes into quarantine. So I wanted to make sure we could still attend this week because it's been a rough week.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
So
How awful for you guys, though.
he's testing every morning.
Oh,
So, but
just awful.
yeah, we're lucky that he's staying well, but a lot of the kids in the high school, they've definitely, it's been going around. So,
Terrible.
Well, I think
entertain-
that determination can be made a little closer to the point, or to
Yes,
the time. But yeah, that is tough. So we have, I know in our company, we've extended the mask mandate now through the end of February, and we're looking at the middle of April. Just because it's so rampant. But luckily, we're down to single digits of people out with COVID this week.
yes.
Okay.
Even the school trend, the dashboard that's available online is showing the downward trend. So we're hoping that we'll be out of this before February vacation.
Please, God, make it all go away.
Wow. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second,
Marshall, you want to
Yeah, I
read
do.
our names?
Okay. Erica,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
okay. Joe,
Yes.
Linda,
yes.
okay, I'm a yes. Tom's not here. Frank,
Yes.
see you all next
So long.